How big of a deal is home flipping in BC?
It's not.
Spoiler alert.
In today's video, I'm going to watch this CBC News report about home flipping and give you my opinions about their reporting, if they're giving you the straight goods, and if home flipping is or ever was a big deal here in Vancouver. Well, I'm in Surrey, close enough. But first, the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board has just released their most recent stats package for the city of Surrey, so that makes this the Surrey Report. And as always, here is my amazing team with the latest sales numbers.
Looking at our detached market for the month of November, we saw 207 sales. That is a 65% increase from the 125 sales in the same period last year. The benchmark price is $1,602,900. That is down 0.9% month over month and down 1% year over year.
We had 146 townhouse sales in November of 2024. That is 19.7% increase over 2023. Our benchmark townhouse price is $864,700. That is 0.4% higher month over month and down 0.1% year over year.
And in condos, benchmark price is hovering around $526,000. Now that's a 0.1% decrease month over month and a 1.5% decrease year over year.
Okay, thanks team. And just before hopping into this video review, my name is Steve. I sell real estate here in the lower mainland of BC. And if you need help in my market, you can book a call with me right now using the link in the description below at a time that works best for you. And of course, it would help a lot if you click the like button and subscribe. So thank you for that. And now let's hop into this video about home flipping and the CBC and see what they have to say.
How big of a deal is home flipping in BC? Well, based on the attention it gets from policymakers, pretty big. The federal government brought in new rules last year that make profit from property flipping fully taxable as a business expense.
So there you go, fully taxable, no more capital gain. It is a business, which I think it should be. If you're doing it for business, should be fully taxable as income tax.
And the BC government has a new home flipping tax that comes into effect January 1st.
The new home flipping tax, I don't know if they're going to get into it here, but the new home flipping tax is 20% of whatever the lift is, going directly to the government to stop people from flipping homes.
Basically, everybody wants to improve housing affordability. Housing costs have been one of the big drivers of inflation in recent years. But will trying to crack down on home flipping make any difference? Some new data from Statistics Canada shed some light on this. The most recent available info goes from 2019 to 2021. In that time, a little less than 3% of homes were sold after being owned for less than a year. 2.8% to be precise.
But in 2019, obviously, this is 2019, 2020, and 2021. 2021 was the big, crazy flip year. 3% of homes is not a ton. And then the question is, well, how are they being flipped? Well, this is only if they're being sold within a year. There's many different reasons why somebody might do it. The number one reason, however, the market went up and there's a quick availability to make a quick buck.
Of the 3 years, 2021 had the highest flipping rate, 3.3%.
And the craziest
2020,
market.
the first year of the pandemic, had the lowest, 2.3%. The data tells us a bit about where home flipping was most common, mostly in urban areas. Abbotsford Mission had the highest rate, about double the average in BC.
Well, that's my marketplace, the lower mainland, Fraser Valley, specifically Mission and Abbotsford. The reason it had the highest flipping is because it was lockdown time. People were leaving the city. Values were driving up so quickly that it was very tempting that if you indeed purchased a home and then you saw the need to move up or the opportunity to make a fast buck, if you necessarily, maybe you were an investor and you were thinking a long-term mindset, but you saw that values almost, doubled within a 2-year period, you may also want to take advantage of cashing out on that investment. And that was probably only due to just extremely lucky timing and a whole lot of help from fiscal policymakers at the federal level.
Vancouver, Kelowna, and Victoria all helped drive up the numbers too. Are you wondering who was flipping? Businesses were doing this at a rate that was disproportionately higher than their involvement in the broader real estate market. The median age skewed a bit older. Slightly more men were flipping.
So think about that for a minute. Businesses were flipping these properties, which makes sense. If you have a business that is in renovations and you're there to flip the property, first of all, let me point out that you don't need a flipping tax if a business is doing it because they're already getting taxed. They're already paying some sort of an income tax. This isn't held within a principal residence. At the same time, it's older folks. Well, no doubt. Of course, older folks can afford real estate, and likely men. Men are obviously more involved in the trades and likely have greater means or at least skills to get these things done, because a lot of the profit that is made in flipping a home is done by actually just having the labor done cheaply at your own expense rather than hiring it out. Hiring out labor is where you lose everything if you are trying to play the flipping game.
Nearly half of sellers who flipped homes were immigrants, 45%. And this may be surprising, but the median family income of property flippers was actually lower than home buyers who didn't flip homes.
There is a very interesting stat. So everyone thinks that people flipping homes are these crazy, rich, wealthy people. But in reality, the people flipping homes were likely doing so to add to their income or to try and make a buck. And people that are of means, well, they're often not going to take on this amount of massive risk in the marketplace to try and flip a home in a short period of time. And to be fair, a lot of those people of greater means are not in the trades necessarily. So in essence, this could be another result of most of these flips being done by likely tradesmen.
So, given the data, is home flipping a big deal in BC or no?
I don't think property flipping is a major cause of the housing difficulties we've had in British Columbia. To some extent, it's a consequence.
That's exactly it. It is a consequence of the market going up. People don't flip homes to drive up the market. People flip homes when the market is going up because there's just an easy profit there. To think that actual improvements on properties are what drive up the price is not at all the case. And usually flips only happen when you have the ability to, because the market's otherwise gone up. For example, if you were planning on being in a townhouse for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, but because the market doubled in only a couple of years, you can now afford to get to that detached home, you're more likely to go ahead and make that move up, and then you get to be considered a flipper.
Tom Davidoff says price volatility, as we saw in 2021, can turn people into flippers.
Exactly.
And he's not the only one who says home flipping doesn't deserve much blame for housing costs.
I think property flipping doesn't shed a tremendous amount of light on the housing crisis that we're undoubtedly facing in this province.
So why is home flipping in policymakers' crosshairs?
We've seen this kind of flavor of the month scapegoat before. At a time it was foreign buyers or empty homes. Now it's flipped homes.
Well, of course, there's a general desire to find the silver bullet that's going to kill housing unaffordability.
Based on the StatsCan data, Davidoff and Hemingway don't expect the new home flipping taxes to do much, if anything, to help housing affordability. So what would help? They both say the problem is simple: too many people and not enough homes. Their solutions? Upzoning and, well, build more homes. Hemingway also says that taxing land and real estate wealth more seriously could help the public sector invest in affordable housing. Rafferty Baker, CBC News, Vancouver.
You almost had me there. So they're basically saying that flipping's not a problem. I'm shocked to hear the CBC say such a thing. But then at the end there, you notice that they say, well, if we do tax the crap out of people, then we can get the public sector to build housing. So you can basically, rent off of the government for the rest of your life. And I mean, if anything else, this just basically highlights to me the fact that not everybody here is silly and stupid. They understand that this is a flavor of the month. Which way is the wind blowing policy? And this new flipping tax that's in, the federal flipping tax that's in, none of these things are actually helping at all. It's just making people feel like the government's trying to do something. Now, let me give you my opinion on this outside of this actual report. Home flipping, or the lack now of home flipping in the future, is going to mean one thing in particular, And that is, there is people, as this report has highlighted, that do this for business, and their job is to improve a property and make a profit on the other side. Well, if we're trying to eliminate those people, what we're going to end up with is more run-down homes that, well, are even more expensive. And they're going to be more expensive because, as mentioned in the article, there is more people and less homes being built. And densification, well, that doesn't appear to really be happening. In theory, it's happening. It doesn't appear to be happening in any meaningful way. So let me know if you think flippers are a problem down below in the comments. And if you need help in my market of Surrey or the Fraser Valley, you can book a call with me right now using the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in a couple of days.